Hello, I'm Blumin-Onion, and today we are going to be making DIY stamps. I drew this pattern last night, and we're going to be using materials that you might already have at home. So we have some styrofoam plates and a popsicle stick. And then I have this Neomark ink pad that I will be using to test the stamp. So I have a couple of plates here just in case I mess up. But first, we want to cut this into roughly the size of what we want to make. So I'm just going to cut out this circle center bit. I've seen other people do this with really great results, but I know that styrofoam definitely isn't the most sturdy material when it comes to like stamps and printmaking. So I was hoping that I could get at least 2 attempts from one plate, but it's looking like we're gonna have to just go with the one because it doesn't seem like 2 will fit. I'm just gonna cut a rough square. And the thing about doing designs for stamps is that if I were to just copy this pattern down onto the styrofoam and then indent it where I don't want the lines, it will be backwards, so it'd be mirrored. And I don't really know if that's what I want to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to copy this or transfer it. I think I'm going to try and just freehand it and maybe make it a little bit smaller. Make sure that it'll fit into the ink pad. So I'm gonna cut it right there, and then to keep it square, I'm gonna trim it down a little bit more. So about there. So this isn't going to be an exact replica of this. I think this might be too wide of a tip. Maybe not. We'll try it. So I'm gonna start off with the square. And everything that's black is going to be what we keep unindented. So anything that gets lines will stay, and that'll be what picks up the ink. Oof, that hand was a little rough, but it'll be okay. So I am just using, I think this is just a dry erase marker. And I'm just using it because it'll be easy to wipe away if I make any mistakes, which hopefully that won't be a problem, but you know, art is a process and sometimes mistakes get made. And you want to be able to have a little bigger, the freedom to kind of fix those at will. I didn't leave as much room with the feet, but I think that'll be okay. And then the other shoulder, and then the head. Definitely made the head more of a circle. And the one on the sticky note. Okay. This probably won't be perfect, but you know, I can't imagine that the styrofoam is going to provide very much detail. I imagine a lot of the detail will get lost in the styrofoam, as it is, you know, not the best material. I do have a Lionel cutter kit, but sadly I have not gotten any rubber pads. I did try doing it with erasers, but it's such a small canvas that it is really, really difficult. Okay, so here comes the part where we just kind of press it down where we don't want the ink to be. So anywhere that isn't, you know, that doesn't have lines is going to just get pressed. And I decided to use the popsicle stick because I imagine it's one of the easier things to get a hold of. I'm sure you could use like the butt of a pen or a marker, and I just wanted to try this at the bare bones level. So like if you have a styrofoam plate and you want to try this, I want to know what the results are going to be like without any fancy materials. So I did decide to do this where it will be mirrored. So I'll have this one and then the stamp will be facing the other way, because when you flip it, that is the way that the image is, which can be hard to remember at times. I think if you wanted to do this as the reverse print, you could always freehand it like how I did, or you could get transfer paper or just put a light layer of graphite on this side, and if your lines are dark enough you can just trace them over and then you'd have an outline on whatever you are transferring it to. The sound of the styrofoam being pressed down isn't the most pleasant, but I think I'm making some good progress. I don't know if you can really tell like how pressed the piece is. It's kind of difficult to tell which parts are going to like sit up more if they don't receive enough pressing. And the goal is to just have the lines be the only thing that is like textured by the end. Okay. You might just have to go in and trust the process, because if I sit here pressing it too long, I don't know if I'll ever finish it. Okay. Oh, I just basically erased that line. Hopefully that's up enough. That's another thing, is that you can't really control how fine your lines are with the popsicle stick because it's only so thick. I think the less detailed designs would be better, so maybe I'll try using some of these scrap pieces to do like a less detailed one, just to like demonstrate what it can look like. I'm not sure that this is going to turn out the best. We're having hope though. And like I said, the styrofoam, it's not a permanent solution, so like I might get a couple of uses out of this stamp before, you know, it's kind of too muddled to really use anymore. So it's all about the effort you put in. So if you want to use a custom stamp but you don't have the custom stamping materials, this could be a temporary option, or just to see like if you like doing stamping and making stamps before you like invest in the more professional materials like a Lionel cutter or the pads, which I was gifted the Lionel cutter. So, and stamp making, I have done stamp making in the past, not in this way, but okay. And then I think I'm actually going to get another one of these sticky notes just to kind of, the black box is going to be a lot bigger because it will actually extend all the way out. But okay, I'm kind of worried I'm not going to be able to pick it back up after I set it into the ink. Okay. And you don't want to press too hard because, you know, the pressure is what made the stamp, the details of the stamp. Oh my goodness, I am struggling to pick it up. Okay. Okay, moment of truth. It kind of worked. Ooh, I was definitely worried that arm detail got lost, but I think it actually worked out pretty well. Let's try again just to see. even though this isn't like necessarily as clean as the original that I did with paint markers, I definitely think that this is a cool effect. And this could definitely be cool for some of the like ideas that people have or things that people do in their sketchbooks. Like if you wanted to do a repeating pattern for a background, I think this could be a really cool and temporary option. Okay, I'm thinking this one might be more muddled. Ooh, no, it's more clear. The face is a little more muddled, but the background is definitely more clear. So I could just go in with like a marker or a pencil and just kind of clean up those lines. But as you can see, the more you do it, the more flat all of the lines become. So I don't know how many more stamps I could get out of that before it would become, you know, not a stamp anymore. Let's take a big chunk out of here. I think I'm going to do like a smiley face. I think I'm going to do it on this side because this side has the edge. So like pressing that down is going to be a little more difficult because it sticks. Okay, just going to do a smiley face. I'm actually just going to flatten the whole thing because I don't think cutting it is going to be a good idea if I decided to outline it. Okay. I definitely think it would probably be easier to do the lino cutting with the erasers if like I have this very big eraser, but it's just so thick that I don't really want to cut into it. But I think maybe I just need to practice with the kit because I haven't done very much with it. So maybe that'll be a video later on, is me making stamps out of erasers. I know people have done it in the past with X-Acto knives and just like scissors, but I feel like you get a lot less control over what the outcome is when you use tools like that. Okay, so we have our smiley face. I have this little scrap piece of paper that's almost the same exact size, so we'll just... I also think that the texture of the styrofoam is definitely coming through. Ooh, yeah, see? It's definitely spotting around a little bit more than I would expect. Overall, I think this was a pretty fun activity, and if you think you might want to get into making prints, this could be a cool little way to test it out and see if you actually enjoy it, which with lino cutting, it's a little bit more precise because you're cutting, because in this method you are pushing down the material to leave the elevated surface for your print, but when you're actually using the lino cutter and the rubber pads, you are using like a small shaped knife to cut into the rubber and removing it fully. So it's a lot more difficult because you can't, I guess you can't undo it in this one either, but I feel like it's a lot more pressure because styrofoam, you know, you can buy a pack of styrofoam plates at really any store for fairly cheap and make a bajillion of these, but with the pads or with the erasers, they get into being a little more expensive. Overall, I think this was a fun experiment. I don't know if I'll necessarily do it again, but I do like these, and I think I will maybe cut them out and put them into a sketchbook or something. Maybe display them next to this one to kind of show the process, and maybe I'll even like seal this up and display it next to it as well. I think that would be a really cool spread, and it would add a lot of texture, and it would show the process of what I was doing. All right, I've been Blumin-Onion, and I'll smell you later. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. If you want to watch more, check out the videos on screen. And if you can't get enough of me, I'm Blumin-Onion on all other platforms. If you'd like to see your art featured at the end of my video, please send it to me in an email and where you'd like to be credited.